boys and girls. Today we are going to read the book Buster by Denise Fleming. She is an author and illustrator. I actually got to meet her a couple years ago, and she signed this book for me. Buster. Buster was a happy dog. He had everything he could ever want. He had dishes with his name painted on them in curvy letters, a large grassy yard with tall oak tree to nap under. A sandpit for taking dirt baths, an in and out flap on the back door, a basket full of toys, a radio tuned to his favorite station, and brown shoes who took Buster to the park whenever Buster wanted. Buster was a happy dog until Brown Shoes brought home the big box. What could be in that big box? The big box. Buster stared at the big box. He had hoped there were juicy steaks or fancy French cheeses or spicy sausages in that box. But there were no steaks, no cheeses, no sausages. There was just a bag of sand, a large flat pan, 2 small dishes, and a cat named Betty. Buster was not happy. Buster was afraid of cats. Betty jumped down off the table and she began to purr and twist and turn around on Buster's leg. Buster was terrified. He was afraid to move. If I ignore her, thought Buster, maybe she will go away. Betty did everything to attract Buster's attention. She slept in Buster's dishes with the curvy letters. Buster ignored her. She ran up and down around Buster's tree. Buster ignored her. She dug in Buster's sandpit. Buster ignored her. She ran in and out and in and out and in and out the flap door. Buster ignored her. She hid Buster's toys. Buster ignored her. Then she changed the station on Buster's radio. This was too much for Buster. A fine park. Buster slipped under the fence. He ran down the block, over 5 streets, and around 2 corners until he came to the park. Not his usual park, but a fine park with tall trees, a bubbling fountain, tubs of flowers, large grassy patches, and no cat in sight. No Betty, thought Buster as he drank from the fountain. No Betty, thought Buster as he rolled in the sand. No Betty, thought Buster as he listened to his favorite station. No Betty, thought Buster as he fell asleep in the shade of a tall tree. Lost, Buster woke up. He was hungry. He was lonely, and soon it would be dark. Buster was ready to go home. He looked up the street. He looked down the street. Nothing looked familiar. Buster circled around the park. He circled the park to the right. Buster had no idea what direction was home. Buster was lost. Poor Buster. Buster asked the big yellow dog if he knew which way was home. He asked the tiny black dog. He asked the man sweeping the walk. No one in the park had any idea where Buster lived. Buster sat very still and tried to remember the route he had taken to the park, but he's been so busy trying to get away that he didn't pay any attention. Home. All Buster could think about was how he would never see his home, his dishes, his sandpit, his toys, his tree, or the brown shoe again. What would he do? Where would he go? Just then a pigeon circled Buster. It landed close to Buster's ear. "Coo, coo," said the pigeon and looked up. Buster looked way, way up. On the top of a tall tree several streets over, Buster saw a waving ball of white fur. That tree looked very familiar. The waving ball of fur looked familiar. It was Betty, all the way up in the tree. Buster ran out of the park, around 2 corners, over 5 streets, turned left, ran up the block, at the same time keeping an eye on Betty. Look how cool this is. This is a picture of a map. Buster slipped under the fence, but Betty ran down the tree and over to Buster. Betty began to purr and twist and turn around Buster's leg. Buster was a happy dog. He had everything he could ever want, and more. The end. So he turned out to like Betty. So boys and girls, today I'd like you to think about if a box got delivered to your house. What kind of animal would be in it? If you could have any animal that you would want at your house, what animal would come in your box? And I want you to draw a picture of your box and your animal. So you need to think about it. If it's an elephant, would it have a teeny tiny box or would it have a great big box? So today I want you to think of an animal that you would like to receive in a box and draw a picture of it. Have a great day. Make sure you get outside and play. Talk to you soon.